Hey Springfield, I'm Dominique Gabriella and you are watching Behind the Scene, and tonight we are here with Krista Meadows. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start off with, how long have you been part of the Springfield music scene?
About on and off now for, I'd say, 8 years.
8 years? And how long have you been a musician?
A musician, I'd say about 20, a little over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you like about the Springfield area as a musician?
Because it is so compact, everybody knows everybody. I guess you could see that as a bad thing or a good thing, depending. But I know when I left Springfield after having been here, my heart kept tugging me back just for the community aspect. I've lived in different cities before, but there was never quite a feeling like there is here of like a small tight-knit family and so much talent in one bowl. You can go to Los Angeles and kind of see something similar, but people have such a bravado. It's smoke and mirrors, where there's just a raw talent here just in our backyard. And I like the familiarity and so it's different.
So the people that do not know what you do, can you explain?
Sure. Music?
Yeah, music.
I play piano, guitar, sing, songwriter. I do percussion, and I guess that's about it.
And what kind of music do you like to sing the most?
What I
like
to sing the most, honestly, would be more of an atmosphere, ethereal, almost Celtic, just kind of a background, something that provides a real soothing, healing atmosphere, but at times real edgy rock and roll. So I guess it just depends on the mood.
Before you were here in Springfield, where were you?
I grew up in Northern California, Sacramento area, just about an hour and a half north of the Bay Area. And I was there pretty much most of my life. I've lived in different parts of the U.S. here and there, different seasons, splattered off and on, 5 years, 10 years, East Coast, West Coast. But I guess I'd consider Northern California to be the home base, other than Springfield now. Yeah.
You just like it here a lot better?
I wouldn't say better. It's very different. It's just where I'm at for the time being, and I commit to whatever season that I'm in and feels right, and I'm not going to fight against it or force anything. So whatever brings peace to my soul is exactly where I belong, and right now it's Springfield, Missouri. So.
Oh, that's awesome. So during the quarantine, how did you, what did you do to keep up with your music? Did you write? Did you participate on any of the online open mic things?
I was fortunate enough to really connect with Eddie and do the Queen City Shout Open Mic, and that really did inspire me to keep writing in the midst of so many different changes and the unknown. So I was a part of that online a little bit, and then I did write some new tunes, and also wasted a lot of time and smoked a lot of weed, and I was very happy with the isolation. So
right.
Yeah.
So how has it been different since quarantine's been lifted, and has it been more difficult for you to get gigs, or do you have any tricks?
It is much more difficult to get gigs because if I'm involving other people, I'm not going to ask them to work for free.
Right.
I'm not going to ask them to work for under a certain amount when I know that they're worth so much more. And when it comes to solo gigs, I was doing a few of those here and there, but to ask a person to, you know, continue to bring all their equipment and play for 4 hours was just too exhausting, and the payout wasn't worth that much time. So I just started working in other fields so that I could enjoy music instead of be a slave to it.
Right.
Yeah, so I didn't want them to take that joy away from me. So it is more difficult, you know, in a sense, but I guess it might not be difficult for other people if they lower their standards of what they want to be paid, or, you know, anything like that. So, but I just hope that people are aware of their value and don't settle past that, because if they keep lowering the bar, then everyone has to lower the bar. At the same time, I understand that venue owners are also struggling as well. So there has to be, you know, communication and some kind of, in my opinion, equal exchange, to where there's support coming from both sides, so they can make a deal or whatever. But yeah, I kind of took a step back from playing out so much to fine tune and polish what it was that I'm working on, so that it could be more impactful once I'm out.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a break and get to your first song. And
All right.
We will be right back.
My
So we're back with Krista Meadows. That was a lovely song. Thank you for that. So let's talk about the business side of being a musician.
Mm-hmm.
What's some advice you could give to musicians that are just starting out? A solo musician, somebody that's probably in the same area you are with your singing and playing and stuff.
It depends on what they want to get out of it. If they want to make music for a living, for a comfortable living, that's an entirely different path that requires a lot of different type of advice, rather than if they're in love with music and seeking to nurture their soul. And sometimes you can have both, and you're very fortunate to have that. I would say to thine own self be true, to don't try to mimic anyone else. Only surround yourself with people that allow you to feel valuable. Don't waste your time being around people that want to cut you down or try to make you feel like shit or question yourself. Are you going to bleep that out? Am I allowed to say shit? Awesome. Commit to your decisions. Realize that your talent will not continue to surpass your rehearsing and your practice. That'll go away, and then pretty soon you'll be living in a van down by the river. And definitely just connect with people that are like-hearted, like-minded, and have the same type of vision or intentions. And don't worry about impressing people that don't allow you to feel valuable. That was a mistake that I made. I used to see people as kind of hierarchy, very important, and that I wanted to impress them or be like, oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. And there's a difference between wanting to serve people versus just constantly feeling lesser than because that's how they want you to feel, and seeking their approval all the time. If you're constantly seeking approval, you'll never be happy in this industry, because one second they're gonna love what you're doing on that stage, and it could be the same song and the same thing that you've been doing. The next second it's all gone. You're at a different gig, and not one person will look at you, or they'll be sneering at you, pointing and laughing. You have to be so connected to your own core and committed to your decisions, and not second guess, and do what brings joy to your heart. And save all of your precision and practice time. Practice, so that when you can get on that stage, your spirit can soar.
That's great advice. So do you find it to be more difficult being a female in the industry than you would think a male would have it?
Absolutely.
And why is that?
There's a stigma. It's hard to kind of break through that, glass ceiling, that glass roof, where they don't take you serious. And if you go into a situation that you badly want to connect with fellow musicians or other professionals, you don't know if they're actually impressed with what you're doing or if they're just trying to get laid. You go into a lot of different situations. Oh yeah, I would love to help you do this. And you see them helping other male musicians cultivate their dream and go out of their way to help them. And so you think, oh wow, they believe in me too. Up until it gets to a certain point when they start asking too much and asking for other things, and you realize that it wasn't about the music at all, and then they'll just cut you out completely, not show you any support, spread some rumors that you're crazy. So and you're more under a microscope, and there's a judgment where if you're professional and you're strong, as a man, it's admirable. Oh, he's a good band leader. He's a good leader. But if you're that same way as a female, then you're just a bitch, you know? So there's a lot of things to work through, and I still have to, you know, I still come up against that too. And then because our culture really pits women against each other to compare one another, you get into situations where you want to connect with other female artists, but they see you as a threat, or they see you as a competition rather than a sister. And instead of supporting and pushing one another, they'll cut your throat, you know? So I think you laugh because you understand.
I do. I absolutely do understand.
And so you go around just kind of like being weary of one another. Who's my friend and who's out to, you know, destroy me, kind of thing. But it's only been in the last few months of my life that I feel like I've come to a pretty good internal balance where none of that really matters anymore. I don't mind being seen as a bitch. I don't mind being seen as crazy. I really don't care how people see me anymore. I am what you say I am. And regardless, I'm going to continue to do what I want to do and try and hit that bullseye and keep my tunnel vision and keep my joy and my own inner peace, you know, regardless. Yeah, so I'm not worried what people say about me. I'm more concerned with how I'm treating them when they are in my presence and how they feel when they're in my presence. So, but yeah, it's a completely different game entirely if you're a female in this industry. I could go on and on and on for days and terrible stories, but you know, it's not really necessary, and we all have our own, you know.
So, what kind of schedule do you have for yourself to practice, and how do you do your practices?
I have gotten more strict only just recently, where I wish that I had really scheduled specific, like a long time ago, but I'm getting better now. So I'm now working around work schedules. So look at the calendar, and if there are any little empty spaces, be like, okay, that's a time where I can, you know, practice. That's a time where I can. Right now, my practice is memorization of different songs and materials. I'm also in a show in Branson, and we just started our new Christmas show. And so all of those parts, backup parts, a little bit of choreography here and there and things like that, memorization. And then with the show that I have coming up, memorization. So I take chunks of the day where I'm like, you know, I'm not doing anything right now, so why not, you know, stew over that. And then I just read this article recently that I thought was amazing that gave this advice about mixing up ways that you memorize things and ways that you practice, and that's huge. It says if you keep doing the same exact thing over and over and over, it actually exhausts a part of your brain where it almost kind of just flatlines, and you're not receiving as much information as you would hopefully want to receive. Right. So I took that advice, and sure enough, like, you speed up the lyrics, slow down the lyrics, do it differently. Choreography, face west, face east, face something else. Try and do something, rub your head, pat your belly as you're like memorizing. Just keep mixing it up, you know, and your brain will keep catching on to different aspects of it, and then you become more well-rounded with the memorization. So right now my schedule is just any time that I'm not working to make money, I will use as practice, and then I have to genuinely remind myself to not do something, because I can't sit and just like hang out and not do something. It drives me crazy. I start feeling like, okay, you're lazy, you should be doing something, you should, you know. I don't have internet at my apartment because I don't want that, you know, draw. I've already tapped out all the data on my phone, and I'm just like, oh man, you're still getting online, and you're still, you know, so just, you know, so I've been slowly cutting back and trimming the fat. Right. Anything that I'm wasting my time not creating or not becoming better at something, I am slowly burning off of my life. And so I'm in the process of that right now.
Wow, that's excellent.
I'm even going to go down to a flip phone soon, I'm telling you. Like, I just want to text and get calls. Otherwise, I'm sick of carrying a computer around in my pocket.
Right,
you know?
Right, and feeling like, oh shit, where did I put that? Oh my God, my life is over.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it's just like, where's it going? And so, but So it just depends on the day and the week, but I'm getting better and better at, it works better for some people, have a grid process, every day at this time, every day at this time, and I'm all for it. And then other people, it's just kind of like, okay, well, I did this, I got this done, now what do I, if I'm asking what do I do now, then I'm going to practice,
It's awesome.
something.
So what do you feel is a fair price to ask venues to pay you? If somebody's out there, they've only gotten a few gigs and they're not really making that much.
Yeah.
They don't understand why somebody else is. Maybe they're just selling themselves short. Would you have any advice on how much you might want to ask for, at your next gig?
Yeah, it depends on how long you've been doing it, I feel, how much time and effort you've put into it. Because some people walk in and they're like, man, I ought to be a musician now. And I know people like this. They've been playing for maybe 6 months to a year, and they expect to walk into a venue and get paid the same amount that I do.
Right.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Right.
Also, it comes down to, I'm sorry to say, but raw talent.
Right.
There's something to say for that. If people don't really want to listen to you and you're not really capturing your audience, or you've got this, I really don't care if you are paying attention attitude and you look like you just rolled out of bed and got onto the stage and you don't care if you're there and you just want to get drunk and play your guitar or whatever, screw you. So it really just depends on the artist, how much they put into it, how they carry themselves, the relationship that they have with those owners, and bringing in any revenue, that helps the owners as well and has a good relationship. So it just varies. If you've been in this field for a few years, and I can't speak for anyone else because it's kind of a difficult thing to talk about too when it comes to money, because
a lot of people,
what I'm making could be so
kinds.
different than what someone else is making. But I do have a standard. Here's what I would say about money then. Figure out what your personal standard is. How much you feel like, okay, if they want 4 hours from me, what does that actually mean of how much playing time? How much gas money are you spending? What equipment do you have to use? And figure out where you feel is fair. And then ask advice from people in the area who have been doing it for a long time. Although I have to say a couple of people are selling themselves short when I think they could be asking more. So sometimes you can be too humble, and a lower self-esteem, honestly, like if you just accept, a certain amount. I'm sorry, I'm going off on so many tangents.
No, but I get it.
But yeah. So once again, it's like to thine own self be true. And haggle, for goodness sake. I'm Sephardic Jewish. I will always haggle. So if I come up with a number that I want, and that venue's like, actually, this is our minimum, this is our bar. If it's way underneath, then I'm kind of like, I don't know about that. But if it's kind of like, well, here's what we can do.
Yeah.
Like, okay, how about you throw in a meal, this, and this, and this, and then just kind of like, see, don't drop your worth, just find out what you'd be willing to work for, or, what you'd be willing to have. So it just really depends, I think, on the person, and be realistic with how much time and effort you have been putting into it and for how long, and don't be an asshole about it and think that you just like deserve so much or whatever, but also don't think you don't deserve enough, so there's a balance. It's absolute balance, and it really does come down to what other people, learn from other people in the area.
So what is, with promoting yourself, what has been that you've seen has been the most successful way of promoting yourself and you're promoting your gigs?
Relationships with people. I would say not social media. We have gotten caught up in this cycle where musicians are promoting to one another. And we make the mistake of thinking that our friends are our fans, and that our music community should be our fans or our friends. And it becomes a big circle jerk, honestly, of patting each other on the back. But it's the same faces over and over, and it's great to support your brothers and sisters, but that's not what is going to do the venue any favors, and it's not what's going to build your own fan base, if that's what you want. So I would say the best thing to do, anytime you do play somewhere, you spend some time shaking hands. Well, not nowadays. Nah, you spend some time bumping elbows. No, you spend some time getting to know people, and people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, you know? And I don't mean be a fake asshole or whatever, but genuinely, like, get to know the people that are taking the time to reach out and coming to see you and making that trip. And just invest time and concern and care into people that actually care about you or think that you're amazing, instead of wasting time on people that you're trying to prove that you are amazing or whatever. So honestly, I feel like promoting yourself is more of a street game, you know, and a community thing, and going to places where people enjoy music instead of just bars. People that are more well-rounded and cultivated in music and cultured, and seeing what they're into, and just really getting to know, you know, organizations in your backyard and different people. I'd say it's not within the music community, it's within a community outside of the music community, you know, and spending time doing that. So
that's some great advice. So we're going to get to your next clip and be right back.
this is called Notre Dame.
Did you wake up
So we are back with Krista Meadows. So let's get into some memories you might have of, just playing around town. Do you have anything in mind?
Some that have stood out. Shout out to Spencer Whittenburn for putting together the tribute show, the ska tribute, and we did a tribute to Save Ferris. And it was me, Brian Copeland, and I believe Kyle Vance was playing in that as well, and Spencer. And I'm sorry that I'm forgetting names at the top of my head right now, but I see their faces. I know who you are. But that was a blast, and that was at Lindbergh's a couple years ago, and I was so thrilled to be a part of that. Being able to then work with Brian Copeland again during the tribute show that he just did to John Mayer recently, that was beautifully done musically, and got to work with John finally, John Anno, who is the hottest guitarist in Springfield and hottest everything. And so got to work with them. And then, a few years ago actually, when Dolores O'Riordan passed away, the Cranberries, my band and I, we were already going to do a performance at Lindbergh's, and it was on my heart to do a Cranberries tribute, and I was going to bring it up to them, and I'm like, no, they might think that's cheesy. And literally 3 weeks out, Dolores passed away, and it just went off in my heart. I'm like, okay, that's what we're doing. So we did this tribute to the Cranberries, and that sticks out in my mind for a lot of reasons. By the way, Samantha Hubler designed some posters for me at that time, and she's such an incredible artist. Her and Justin Larkin are just I think royalty, Springfield royalty. But so we did that tribute show, and there was a moment in that show that'll stick with me forever. And I was doing the song, No Need to Argue. And I was, honestly, I was just going with it. I was by myself. I was improvising the pacing of that song. And a friend of mine, Jet Ainsworth, he's a director and a writer, an amazing guy. He filmed it and turned it into a miniature documentary.
Wow.
He lined up me doing that song, No Need to Argue, with Dolores doing the same song at some live concert many years ago. And he faded in and out of me singing it to her singing it. And our voices, our lips, everything was completely in sync. And I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it because I was watching it and I was like, oh my God, did you sync up our performances? He's like, no. And I was improvising. I cried.
Oh my God.
I still get emotional about it because it was just a spiritual experience that I felt really connected to her in that moment, and how much she did for the music industry and the impact she had. She was such an amazing songwriter. And
I remember all the things we once shared, watching TV movies on the living room armchair, if they said a workout fine, was it all a waste of time? 'Cause I knew lose you, you'll always be special to me, special to me, to me. Well, I forget inside, you said I was on your mind. There's no need to argue, no need to argue anymore.
And so I don't know, that experience, amongst many others, in Springfield. I've just worked with so many amazing people.
So during quarantine and, you know, everything being shut down, I remember you guys doing licks over at Shuffle.
Licks! Yes. Live interactive licks. What was it? Live interactive, what was it? Concert series. Live interactive concert series. I only said it 1,000,000 times. Fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain
awesome.
how that came about and what you did with that? For
Well,
the people that did not see.
Right. I'd have to say, and this is another piece of advice for people, if you want to do something, just boldly go where no one has gone before. All I saw was something posted online one day about, you know, we want to do this live interactive concert series, blah, blah, blah. And I immediately messaged Dan, the owner over at Shuffle, and I was like, who's doing this? How can I be a part? How can I? He's like, oh, well, this is Paul's thing, Paul Carson. And I'm like, okay. So I messaged Paul, like, hey, Paul, how can I get involved? How can I, you know? And he's like, oh my God, that'd be perfect. You know, yes, will you please host it, you know?
Yeah.
And Paul has been a good dear friend who has always been so freaking supportive of me. He and Cassandra and just like the whole crew, I just freaking love Paralander to death. Like,
Dude,
I
they
love
are
them so
great.
much,
They're
right? Yeah. And I just appreciate them being like next level and how much they rehearse, how much they practice, and just kind of just like, you know, I have so much respect. So Paul has always been so supportive, and he was just like, yeah, absolutely, let's have you host this. And he was excited, I was excited. And then I pulled John Anno in on video, who's a phenomenal videographer. And I know that like he did that as a volunteer and it didn't get to show his skills or anything, but it was a huge addition to it. Right. And so it was amazing to get to work with something on him and like the people that were in the room and then see the bands that played. Oh my gosh. I hadn't even heard a lot of them. I'd never heard them before. And week after week after week, I was blown away by.
How many weeks was it going on again?
I think we had like 6 weeks. It was like 6 or 7 weeks. Yeah, and every week getting to see a new talent and getting to see a new band that I hadn't been able. And since we had been on shutdown, it was therapeutic because we've been stuck in our houses not seeing live concerts. Yeah, and then here they were, and I'm in the front seat just like, you know, like rolling over them. And I'm just like, yeah, you know. That was phenomenal. And I think more venues should be doing something like that for sure.
Yeah. I know a lot of people were having the itch of wanting to see something live again. And just having that put together, I know that it meant a lot to a lot of people, and especially the musicians itching to get back on stage. And I know that it's still hard not having an audience out there, but just to be able to get on stage when not being able to for so long, that was really,
and
really
the community
awesome.
showed support. You know, these bands posted their information online to, you know, receive something, and people gave, you know, and they encouraged it, and so it was beautiful. It was a beautiful idea and done really well.
Yes, yes it was. So you had mentioned that you are in a show in Branson. What show is that?
Dean Z. Dean Z is like one of the top of the nation and worldwide Elvis impersonators. And when I hear and have always heard Elvis impersonator, I roll my eyes. And I picture the flying Elvises coming out of the plane, you know, in Vegas or whatever, and just like, oh God, give me a break, you know. When I see Dean perform, it goes beyond that. He genuinely is an entertainer who feels and loves the music, and he just loves, you know. A lot of people, they take Elvis and they're just like, oh, he was sexy, so I better curl my lip and act like this, you know, and do this, you know, and get the women to scream, you know. With Dean, he just like, he connects to the music the way Elvis did in his own way, and he does in his own way. Right now, we're not doing an Elvis show, it's a Christmas show. And he's doing a lot of like really cool rockabilly and like Brian Setzer orchestra. Oh, and Ryan Dunn is on sax.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's in our show, and so Ryan's on sax. So of course,
local
you know,
Springfield musician.
exactly,
That's awesome.
local celebrity. ever horn players, so it's got like the full orchestra. It's a phenomenal Christmas show. So I'm very blessed to be working right now, and so many of my friends aren't and can't. And even though last night I was wearing a new pair of heels and I thought I was going to be crippled and for life, and I felt like, I literally felt like a deer on ice, and it was horrible. But even then, through the pain, I'm smiling. I'm like, I get to work, you know? I'm just like, I'm grateful for this pain. So I'm very fortunate, and every single person in that show is a kindred spirit. They're amazing people. Dean and Stephanie are a kindred spirit. Like attracts like. So when you have good-hearted, amazing people, hardworking people, they attract the same crew. So I feel very blessed and fortunate to be a part of that experience right now and to have that as a job. Yeah.
So
I get emotional.
Has it started up, the Christmas show?
Yeah. Yesterday was our first.
How often do you have
Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and some Saturday mornings. So 3 shows a week.
Oh, wow.
We were supposed to go to Wisconsin next week for 4 days and have some shows out there, but because of COVID, because of certain things, safety reasons, that's canceled right now, understandable. So, but other than that, 3 shows a week. So, I got a couple of little, Springfieldians in your Branson show. So come see Ryan. He's got like 4 or 5 solos.
Oh,
and he's just like wailing, and he's like on someone's back, playing upright bass, and then he's on the ground, and he's like, so he's so pro. He's so pro.
Yeah, it's fun to watch him play.
Yeah, he's the best.
Known him for a while now.
Yeah.
So when's your next show? Do you have a show coming up yourself?
Finally, we've come back together. And that's my good friend Sebastian Bach. Yes, that's his name. And he's one of the original members of my band, Krista Meadows and the Sleeping Giants. And the Giants have been sleeping for a couple of years.
Oh.
And now they're awakening. Yeah, they're waking up, they're moving. And I have got the best players I could ever imagine right now. On bass, I have Benjamin Gutowski. He used to play for Euphoria Morning other, he's my wild card that I've been waiting to play for a long time.
Right.
And people are like, who do you have on bass? I'm like, you'll see. Because I didn't want anyone to take him.
Right.
And John Anno on guitar, who I mentioned earlier is the hottest guitarist in town. Back off. No, I'm kidding. No, he's like, okay, we're dating. Okay, I can say these things. He's like the most amazing person in the world. Okay. Then I've got Federico Samuel on drums.
Nice.
Yeah, got Rico on drums. And I've got Ryan Dunn on saxophone.
Sounds amazing.
And then my friend Sebastian, he's been living on the West Coast. He's coming out. He's on keys and guitar at different times. Sometimes I'm on keys, but I just want to be away from instruments. I just want to front something. I just want to sing. Either want to play and only do instrumentals without singing, or I want to be singing and fronting without any instruments. That's where I'm happiest right now. And then in the future, E.O. Meniscus will be joining us. He is a violinist. He's living in Arkansas right now, and he's one of the most phenomenal musicians. And he and Sebastian are full range, phenomenal singers. And so we'll be having like the 3-part harmony. We'll be having so yeah.
Well, this sounds amazing. So when is this show?
Yeah,
yours?
sorry, I got
when is this show yours?
I'm too excited. It's the 28th at Paddle Wheel. So that's this coming weekend. I don't know when this is going to be aired, but
it's going to actually be aired
after.
Yeah.
All right. So it will have happened, and you will have heard about it, because the buzz will be just all over the place. And right now, if you're watching this, you're kicking yourself that you missed it, right? Well, you should see the footage that we're going to post, and I'm going to be using that for bookings for 2021. Krista Meadows Music on Facebook. Book my freaking band if you know what's good for you in your venue.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, and I know that sounds bratty or whatever, but it's true. But it's not just about, hey, we're a party band and we want everyone to dance and get drunk. How you like me talking like that? But what it's about is choosing music that actually meant something and reached down into the core and reconnecting with the romance between us and music. And I give this advice to players and bands that if you are having your own party on stage, people want to be invited to, you know, and it'll draw them in if you are feeling it yourself. So I'm way more concerned with the spiritual aspect of what's going to be happening rather than just, you know, hey, come see us, we're a party band, you know.
Right.
So I'm really, that's what I want to do, is usher in healing and inspiration. I want to leave a crowd feeling inspired and better than when they came. I just want to leave everything better than when it arrived. So that's the purpose of this.
Well, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be
to hear it.
beautiful.
So I have heard that there are some musicians out there that are taking private party offers since it's getting colder and the patios are not open anymore. Is that something that you have considered doing?
Yeah,
yourself?
absolutely. Yeah.
And where can they find you? To
Krista Meadows Music, you know, through Facebook, or Krista Meadows Music at gmail.com. Because at any given time I can throw out solo, duo, trio, or full band, whatever they need. And because I did cruise ships for 5 flipping years, so if they're even like, well, we have a special gig right now and we want just Motown music, I'm like, all right, done. We got it.
Right.
Classic rock, all right, done, got it. I got you. What you need? What you got? I got watches. I got classic rock. I got 80s music. You know, like whatever you need. You know, but yeah, absolutely, and especially in an intimate atmosphere, if they want, you know, like just beautiful music playing behind something while people sip their wine and you know, heat their hors d'oeuvres. I'm your huckleberry.
Well, that's awesome. So is there anything that you wish that I did ask? Any other advice? Anything you want to add? Closing thoughts, basically.
I want to add happy birthday!
Oh, thanks. Yes, I just had that.
You just had your birthday. So I wanted to tell you happy
Well,
birthday.
thank you.
Been wanting to, and I did. I get you a little something. Actually, like, where's my coat? Where did I put it? So really quick, thank you very much. We forgot to talk about the open mic nights over at the new Odyssey Lounge.
Are you hosting that?
That's my open mic, girl. Yeah. It started out at Lindbergh's.
Yeah.
It was Lindbergh's open mic, and then I moved it to Q&A, and it was C Street open mic, and then I pulled Polly Ray on board hosting, and he pulled in some new fresh faces, and then Kevin Dunn contacted me and said, hey, we need an open mic over at this place. And I was like, hell yeah. So we moved it over to Odyssey Lounge every Thursday night.
Okay.
And it's called Space Odyssey Open Mic.
I like it.
And I'm telling you right now, some of the most amazing talents, up and comers are in that place. The future of Springfield music is there, you know. And so I've got this special space unicorn that I chose for our, you know, special logo and everything. And you do so much for the community, for the music community, and for everybody. And you're constantly working, and it's beautiful to see you constantly rise and shine. And you have my support like all the time. And I just am so grateful for you and love you to death. And for your birthday, I got you the Space Unicorn pin.
Yes.
That is the Space Odyssey Open Mic Space Unicorn, and you are now the only person in Springfield to have anything like that. You have the very first pin.
Thank you so much. I
freaking
love
love
it.
Yeah, it's
I
just a
love it.
reminder that, you know, you do so much in the community, and that there are other people out there that have the same, you know, intentions as well, and that we back you 150% always, you know.
Absolutely appreciate that.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
We appreciate you.
I love it.
Yeah.
And we definitely will have to stop by the open mic.
You're gonna love it.
And check it out.
Yeah,
everything
you're
on
gonna love it.
Thursdays. Are you going to have one for, I know this is going to be after this Thursday, but.
Close Thanksgiving, December 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
December 3rd.
Yeah. I'll be hosting December 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll have some guest hosts here and there. We have, oh my gosh, we have the band Unessential Jane as our house band.
That's cool.
And I've got, you know, guest hosts, comics, and other guests.
This sounds amazing.
It's beautiful.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you so much
Thank you so
for
much.
being on the show, and definitely love to have you back sometime.
Yeah.
And stop by the Odyssey for your open mic. But we're gonna have your last song just carry us out. So
All
until
right.
next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but something looks different in your eyes. Honey, tell me if there's something on your mind, 'cause plenty of the fish that I could find. When I can't see, your heart has already run out the door. Oh, how did I get myself into this place again? It's like I'm always waiting for the end. Don't think you're breaking my heart, 'cause I give plenty others a head start. Baby, you were never good for me at all, but if you would've asked me, I'd have fallen. If you want me, I could fall. When I can't see, your heart has already run out the door. Oh, how did I get myself into this place again? It's like I'm always waiting for the end, like I'm always waiting for, like I'm always waiting for the, like I'm always waiting, like I'm always waiting